Hello everybody, welcome back to the Bad Because Wrestling podcast. My name is Jack and today we've got Monday Night Raw review. I have to apologise if you only watched the Raw reviews that I didn't do one last week because I couldn't be bothered. Basically. If you did miss it, I gave Raw a 2 3/4 stars, I believe. I didn't enjoy it whatsoever. This week wasn't too much better, but it wasn't. It wasn't bad. It was just a bit uninspiring. It felt like a go-home show kind of thing. So, yeah, it wasn't terrible. Just a bit boring at times, a bit boring. But let's jump straight into it. We kicked off the show with this Beat the Clock challenge, which have we had this before? I think we've had it before. I can't remember who for though. This time it was between Ronda, Becky, and Charlotte. Each three did a promo beforehand. Basically, I'll cut them down to like one sentence if I can. Ronda Rousey said that everyone was welcome, that women are finally main eventing WrestleMania, because it was announced that the triple threat will be the main event and the headline of WrestleMania. First time women have been the main event, which is excellent. Ronda saying you're welcome, basically saying it was all her doing, which is kind of true. It's kind of true. It is true. It is 100% true. If it wasn't for Ronda, this wouldn't be happening. Because if it wasn't for Ronda, we wouldn't have got Becky as she was. We probably would have got Becky versus Charlotte again. And that would be like, probably kicked off the show or something like that. But yeah, Ronda's right. Becky then came out and said that if it wasn't for her, Becky wouldn't even be champion. If it wasn't for her, Ronda wouldn't even be champion, because no one cares about Ronda anymore, and at WrestleMania she will make Ronda tap out. And then Charlotte came out and said that, it's me, because it's me that have got the women's main event at WrestleMania because of all the work I've done over the past 7 years carrying this division on my shoulders. So kind of true as well. Kind of true. But each wrestler, we're going to face a member of the Riot Squad. So first off, we had Ronda Rousey versus Sarah Logan. And Ronda Rousey made Sarah Logan tap out in 1:25. So she set the time, and Charlotte and Becky have to beat the time to win. So I don't know. Charlotte went up next, and she didn't beat the time. She didn't beat Ruby Riott, which is good. This is the one thing, if there was anything that I didn't like, I don't think there was. It was just an okay segment. But the one thing I loved is they protected Ruby Riott. They didn't bury her again like they have been doing. Charlotte had Ruby Riott in the figure 8, but Ruby Riott just held on, didn't tap until the clock stopped, and then she didn't tap after that either. It wasn't like -1 second and then she tapped. She just didn't tap. So good. Protected Ruby Riott. She's the leader of a squad. You can't bury her, because that not automatically buries the other two, and you're already burying the other two, so you don't want to bury them even more. So, and Ruby Riott's great as well. And then Becky Lynch did beat Ronda Rousey's time, so she won the challenge, the Beat the Clock challenge. She won it by 7 seconds, beating Liv Morgan with an armbar. Was it an armbar? No, it was a roll-up. A roll-up. A roll-up. So yeah, that kicked off Raw. It was an okay segment. It was good to see them all in the same ringside area, but not brawling, if you get what I mean. Like, just save the fighting until WrestleMania, ladies. And yeah, it was good enough. It didn't really elevate anyone or anything. If anything, it elevated Ruby Riott for not tapping, but there you go. Yeah, decent opening segment. But next up we had a match between Finn Bálor, Bobby Lashley, and it was supposed to be Lio Rush, a handicap match. If Finn won, he's going to WrestleMania. And that is what he did. Finn Bálor beating Bobby Lashley and Jinder Mahal, who replaced Lio Rush, after a bit of interference, hindering, I would say, not really interference, from the Singh brothers and Lio Rush. Finn Bálor managed to finally get the coup de grace onto Jinder Mahal, pinning Jinder Mahal to win the match. He will go to WrestleMania to face Bobby Lashley for the IC title. I'm pretty bored of this feud. It seems like it's been going on forever. As long as it ends at WrestleMania, and it should be Demon Finn, shouldn't it? Shouldn't it? It should be, really. Shouldn't it? Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Anyway. Yeah, the reason why Jinder Mahal replaced Leo Rush was because Leo Rush said he wasn't cleared. And because of Braun Strowman last week, basically. Good enough excuse, to be fair. so he got replaced by Jinder, which gave him some TV time, I guess. Next up, we had a non-title match. Aleister Black and Ricochet versus The Revival. Aleister Black coming back. I noticed last week Michael Cole said that Aleister Black had some business in Holland when he was actually on his honeymoon with Selena Vega. But there you go. Non-title match with The Revival. It was a good match. Once again, it's always a good match. When there's two teams from NXT, you know that 90% of the time it's going to be a good match. Even if they weren't against each other in NXT, they just know what's happening. Especially a team as good as Revival and two single competitors as good as Black and Ricochet. Again, Ricochet and Black win the match because you're not going to have them lose. I know they lost at Fastlane, but they didn't lose, and then they looked strong after the match. Black hit a double Black Mass on both Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson, and then Ricochet hit the 630 onto Dash Wilder, picking up the pin. I assume this makes them number one contenders, and I assume they'll be facing The Revival at Mania, maybe. Or maybe next week. I haven't seen spoilers for NXT, so I don't know if they've beaten the Forgotten Sons to get to the final and face the War Raiders at NXT TakeOver. So, at this moment, I'm kind of thinking they win that match, and then they do kind of 2 nights or 3 nights, because NXT's on a Friday, isn't it? They could do it. Yeah, they're number one contenders in my eyes. Have them booked at WrestleMania. They beat The Revival. Next up, we had the Scottish psychopath Drew McIntyre come out and say that he doesn't care that the fans don't like him, but he demands respect from them. I like you, Drew. You're awesome. Awesome. He said that a week is a long time to wait for a response from Roman Reigns about his WrestleMania challenge, and he hopes that Roman says no, because his children have spent months watching their dad fight a battle for his life. Does he really want to put them through that again at WrestleMania? Bit of a dirty line, Drew. Bit of a dirty line. And he says that, Roman's always there, like, I don't back down from a challenge, but you need to from this one, Roman. You need to. He said that he's going to hold Raw hostage until he gets his answer. Roman quickly comes out and says that Roman Reigns accepts your challenge at WrestleMania. So we're going to get Drew McIntyre versus Roman at WrestleMania. But then he says, this next part isn't Roman Reigns. If you ever talk about my children and my wife again, I'm going to beat your ass. Not he didn't say it like that, but along those lines. And then he just smacks Drew up in the face, and then a brawl broke out. Roman was on top throughout all of it until Drew McIntyre hits a low blow, and then another vicious Claymore kick to put Roman down. I should have said the big dog. Put the big dog down. And, yeah, commercial break. Drew walks off. That was a loud slap on my leg. We come back from commercial, and Drew McIntyre was walking down the backstage concourse bit, I guess you could say. Corridor, whatever it's called. And he bumps into Dean Ambrose. You know, the rumours going around that Dean Ambrose wasn't going to be seen until after Mania, maybe. At Mania, whatever. Yeah, he was on this Raw. And Dean Ambrose challenges him once again to a match. Obviously, has it been 2 weeks in a row? No, he wasn't on last week's Raw. But it was 2 weeks in a row last. So it's about 3 times in 4 weeks. We've had Dean Ambrose versus Drew McIntyre in some sort of match. Some sort of stipulation. This week, it was a last man standing match. Will it be as good as their Falls Count Anywhere match? That's the main event of Raw anyway. We'll talk about that when we get there. Next up, we had a singles match between Natalya and Sasha Banks, ended in a DQ, as it would do. Nia Jax and Tamina coming down and attacking everyone in the ring, but Beth Phoenix was the one to fend them off, beat them both up. She even managed to lift Nia Jax before being kicked in the face by Tamina, but then got the upper hand on Tamina and hit a glam slam on her. And then after interview with Sasha and Bayley, Sasha says we'll face them all at WrestleMania, and it was announced. It wasn't announced on Raw. When I woke up, it was announced by that time. So it's going to be Sasha Banks and Bayley, the Women's Tag Team Champions, versus Tamina and Nia Jax versus the Divas of Doom. Now, I wasn't really watching when Beth Phoenix was around, but I have seen some of her matches and she's really good. But Divas of Doom? Really? Beth Phoenix and Natalya versus the Iconics in a fatal 4-way tag team match. It's going to be a bit messy, no doubt. But at least the Iconics are in there, because I certainly think they're going to win. I hope they do anyway. But yeah, Natalya and Beth Phoenix look strong. And then they did a video package of the Hart Foundation. Obviously, they've been inducted, or going to be inducted, into the Hall of Fame this year. Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, being Natalya's dad. So it was a nice little bit for Natalya while she was in the ring. So yeah, flowed nicely. It was an okay match before the DQ. Wasn't anything special to talk about, really, except for the aftermath. Up next, a moment of bliss with this week's special guest, Braun Strowman. I instantly liked this moment of bliss because it wasn't at the top of the ramp, it was in the ring. So they've changed it out of nowhere, and it's just like, oh, this is different, okay. So it kind of gets you on board straight away. But then it was all the stuff to do with these, I don't know their name, the correspondent blokes. I'm English, how am I supposed to know who these guys are? Basically, what I've written down here is, still going on with these two correspondents, still don't know who they are. They both are forced to enter the Andre the Giant Battle Royal by Alexa Bliss. So yeah, at the moment, the Battle Royale, the 3 confirmed contestants are Braun Strowman and these 2 correspondent blokes. What? What? We then had a match, a really quick match to be fair. Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews. End of days. Baron Corbin wins. Gets revenge over last week, over Apollo Crews beating him last week. So, fan-dabby-dozy. We then had Seth Rollins come out and cut a promo on Brock Lesnar, even though Brock Lesnar wasn't there. I'm really not excited. My levels of shits given is 0 at the moment for this Universal title match, because Seth's trying his best, but what can you do when Brock's not there? And last week, Brock just turned up and didn't even do anything. Just stood there like he normally does. Anyway, Seth came out and said that him and Brock aren't cut from the same cloth. Says that he wants to be a champion that inspires people and not what Brock Lesnar does, chilling at home 24 hours a day. He refused to accept that Brock Lesnar will define the industry as the Universal Champion after WrestleMania. He promises once again that he will beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, and with the WWE Universe by his side, he will burn it down. Or they will burn it down, as they said. A bit cheesy, Seth. Come on, mate. Paul Heyman then comes out and interrupts. Paul Heyman's there every week because he's backstage. Top bloke. Paul Heyman says that he thanks Seth for letting it know that it's a handicap match now between Brock Lesnar versus Seth and the WWE Universe. But there's still no chance that Seth will win. He's still got a good feeling that Brock's going to smash his ass at WrestleMania. And he goes on about saying that people these days always go on about, give me your thoughts and prayers. Like the dogs and the vets, I need your thoughts and prayers. I'm going to face Brock Lesnar. I need your thoughts and prayers. He ends the promo, he walks off, and Seth jumps out the ring and runs up the ramp, making Paul Heyman fall over. because poor Heyman's a little scared. He was on the floor saying, "Oh no, I think you're going to win, Seth. I think you're going to win." It was all Brock Lesnar's decision. It wasn't me. Just being chicken shit heel like he is. And Seth says, "I'm not asking for thoughts and prayers. I'm answering thoughts and prayers," which I thought was a decent line. It was a good line, and it's just putting over Seth to like. Obviously, when he won the Rumble, I was like, yep, he's going to win. But now I'm really not too sure. I really don't know whether Seth's going to win at WrestleMania. I don't know. I just don't know at the moment. But yeah, Seth's trying his best. Brock Lesnar's at home. Brilliant. We got 2 matches and a promo left. Next up, Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe. Okay. This match, we've obviously seen this match a lot in TNA Impact. Was it TNA? I think it was TNA at the time, wasn't it? And yeah, it was a decent matchup. These two know what the others are doing. Obviously, Kurt was a bit younger back then and could move a little bit fluidly. Kurt Angle once again picking up the victory over the United States champion he was in the Coquina clutch and he managed to outsmart Joe and pin him, not like Shayna Baszler did, not like what AJ Styles did. Kind of just fell over. So yeah, that was fun. Kurt Angle picking up the win. You're not going to have Kurt Angle lose on his retirement tour, really. Which will be interesting to see what happens with AJ Styles on SmackDown, because you're not really going to have AJ Styles lose, I don't think. So I personally think Randy Orton's going to come in and interfere with that match, because that seems the obvious thing to do. It protects both some AJ Styles and Kurt Angle. And it doesn't put a loss on Kurt Angle's retirement thing. Tour. Next up, Triple H talking about Dave Batista. He kicks off the promo by saying, congratulations to the women for main eventing WrestleMania for the first time ever, saying that it wasn't given to them, it was earned by them. And yeah, crowd are like, yay, woo. But he quickly changes the subject onto the promo that he wanted to cut, and that was on Batista. Obviously, last week Batista was on this promo that was recorded like 2 weeks ago, whatever. And it was like an interview with Michael Cole and whatnot. And he said that he's also got a envelope, and he struggles to pull it out. He then says on the mic, "I'm doing the job for the envelope." Come on, come on, Trips, don't do that. And he pulls out the envelope, and he says that this is from Batista's lawyer, and it says that he's not going to compete at WrestleMania unless some more demands are met, kind of dealio. And you know, he then goes on. He said Batista said that Triple H only had Evolution even to keep him as World Heavyweight Champion for longer. And Triple H is like, have you only just thought of that, Dave? Have you only just realised that? Come on, mate, smarty. And yeah, he's saying that he goes on about Evolution. He goes on about how Triple H, Ric Flair brought Batista into Evolution. He came in as a deacon walking around with Devon Dudley, and he left the Evolution as World Heavyweight Champion, and then he became a five-time World Heavyweight Champion. I think it was 5 times. I can't remember. And yeah, he then finally opens there and says that the demands that Batista wants to face Triple H at WrestleMania is Triple H to put his career on the line. And this is interesting. I thought this would be the case. I think I said on a couple of reviews on Raw a couple of weeks ago that I think this might be for Triple H's career. And then that's the point when it's just like, because no holds barred match, Batista comes back, you would have thought Triple H is going to win. But now it's a bit like, oh, Batista's going to win, surely. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen now. But yeah, he says that Dave thinks that Triple H is obsessed with him, but he's only obsessed with kicking his ass all around New York, and he accepts the demands. We're still going to get the match between Triple H and Batista, but this time, not only is it no holds barred, if Batista wins, Triple H will no longer be able to wrestle in a WWE sense of things, when they always wrestle about 5 times afterwards. The main events of the evening saw Dean Ambrose and Drew McIntyre in a last man standing match. I don't think it was as good as the Falls Count Anywhere match, but it was okay. It didn't last very long. It was about 10 minutes. Drew McIntyre dominated throughout it all. He picked up a chair from the timekeeper's area. He wedged it in the turnbuckle, like you can do, top and middle rope. And then he went to throw Dean into that. But Dean countered it of his own, threw Drew into that, hit a Dirty Deeds. And that was the first time Dean looked like he might win. But Drew McIntyre managed to get up on the count of 9. And Dean just started beating him up, making sure he was down. Jumped out the side of the ring, picked out a table in the ring, leant it against the other turnbuckle. And then went to go get Drew, but Drew just picked him up and launched him into the table. But Dean didn't count out. He got up. He somehow got up on the count of 9. But as soon as the referee counted 9 and then said, he's up, Claymore kick, and that is what finished him off. The one thing I don't like about this is they are really, really making sure the Claymore kick's a prominent move in this feud with Dean as well as Roman, with this feud of the Shield, if you will. And they're making it look super, super strong. And now that Drew versus Roman's a thing at WrestleMania, and Roman's got a thing about kicking out of strong finishers. Yeah. Yeah. But Drew won the match, as expected. And he looks so dominant. He looks so dominant. My heart wants him to win at WrestleMania against Roman, but my head and everything else in my body is saying, don't be stupid, it's a Roman win. I don't know how to feel. It's going to be a good match either way, isn't it? And that was Monday Night Raw. I gave it a 3-star. Like I said, it was average. About slightly... No, not even slightly above, just average. Just average. 3-star. If you did enjoy that, though, leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you are new. Check out our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you type in Bad Bookers on all of those, you'll find us. I think our @ on Twitter is @BadBookersWP. Check out our Patreon, www.patreon.com/BadBookers. And anything else? We got a giveaway. I'll leave a link to that in the comments probably. And I don't think website. That'll be good if I plug the website, www.badbookers.com. And that's it. I'm pretty sure that is it. I'll see you again later on, or tomorrow, either one, for SmackDown Live. Thank you very much for watching.